midday in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's time to get to the men's semifinal action for the 2022 AVP Atlanta Open. A beautiful scene has been set as we are fighting through some weather, at least for the last 2 days. CAMRYN Irwin alongside Dane Blanton, and yeah, 1 versus 5 to get us started on the men's semifinal side. Chase Budinger, Troy Field facing off against the #1 seed THEO Brunner and Schalk.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. These two teams have met just once before on the AVP tour, and that was this year in Austin, and it was Budinger and Field who were victorious. So you can imagine that Schalk and Chase have a little revenge on their mind. I mean, Cam and THEO.
THEO, yeah, without a doubt, those guys looking to find their second title on the 2022 AVP Tour. We've got Mark Sherman, the 3rd member of our cast and crew, down on the sand. Take it away, Mark.
Yes, we are ready down here on the court, mainly because we got this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Big Wave Dave. Give it up for Big Wave Dave, celebrating his 67th year on tour. And you look a day over 70, my man. Well done. Good for you, Dave. Now, it is time to meet the teams. We are going to send one of these teams to the finals, and this is going to be an athletic, fun, energizing match to watch. So let's do it, shall we? This first guy, we saw him play in the NBA. Absolutely impressive, absolutely insane. I promise he can do things that you cannot. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for Chase Budinger. And his partner, when he was born, he had a 17-inch vertical. It set a Guinness Book of World Records, and he just kept getting higher and higher and higher. One day you're jumping over the net, Troy. Let me hear it for Troy Field. And their opponents, you gotta be kidding me. This guy had 9 blocks in the first, 20 points of their last match. He is a blocker of the year here on the AVP Tour, and he sort of does it quietly. He's unassuming, but he is not the guy you want to see on the other side of the net. He is THEO Brunner. And his partner, you think you want to see him on the other side of the net because he's super nice. You're tempted to go just give him a high five, maybe shake his hand, have a little chat, but he is patrolling back there. He is watching your every move. He is reading the game like a hawk. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Schalk.
All right, so it's 1 versus 5 again. CAMRYN Irwin alongside Olympic gold medalist and head coach at USC. A couple national champions in tow, Dane Blanton. All right. Walk me through this one. We got some dynamic blockers like we just saw from the women's side out there. THEO Brunner, some height, as well as Chase Budinger, Dane.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. THEO Brunner, one of the best blockers in the world. He is going to have to own the net to get a victory. And then you got Chase Budinger, an amazing player as well. We heard Mark talk about his coming over from the NBA. And he can do it as well. I think the battle at the net is going to be huge. And who wins that, probably going to be victorious and punching their ticket to the finals.
THEO Brunner, 6'7", as he's currently checking the height of the net. Saying the net is super low in the middle. And it's so fun to actually see them test the height of the net right now because it shows just how high they actually are.
Now we check the net.
So yeah, they're going to take a second here and make sure the middle of that net is well taken care of.
THEO, come over here now, please.
These guys are coming from a women's semifinal that was just played on stadium court, so hence the net does go up and down frequently. Just got to make sure that it's perfectly set.
That's the first thing I used to do when I get out on the court was check the height of the net, because you're right, it's changing constantly. All day long, you're adjusting it from women's height to men's height.
All right, let's just start smashing balls straight down, then 1-0.
All right, well, let's see how that might affect things as the net has been adjusted. Schalk is still at the service line. Schalk, 36 years old. Originally out of Canada, as he tosses this one up from the north.
Oh, yeah. That is definitely low. 2-0.
Schalk making the switch from Team Canada to Team USA. Now currently looking to go to 2024 to represent the United States alongside THEO Brunner, a year out from qualification, as THEO finds the block. 37 years old. These two call themselves robotic in terms of their approach to the game.
Well, here's a nice robotic block, completely taking the entire line. So I guess they've figured out the net height and got that locked in. And just for your information on net height, CAMRYN, the men's net is 7 feet, 11 inches, and 5/8. 11 and 5/8 inches. I don't know why the 5/8. And then a women's net is 7 feet, 4 1/8 inch. So we just usually call it, you know, 8 feet and 7.5 feet as a block by Budinger. But those are the difference in heights, and it's a considerable difference.
There's been so much conversation over the years about potentially raising the men's height, maybe on the indoor side of the game, even higher. Be interesting if that conversation ever trickled over to the beach. So take a look at the number 5 seed playing in their 5th AVP tournament as partners. They did make it to a final back in Austin. Oh! Budinger, Field, Brunner, and Schalk. There's them in the semifinal. On the other side, as a quick look in between points, Dahlhauser, Patterson, Lotman, and Partain. Oh! That ball is gone. That thing was gnarly.
A really aggressive move by Chase Budinger into the angle last second, and he got all of that. Little flex down, little
growl.
Yeah. You don't usually see that out of Chase. I like how he's fired up.
And maybe that's where the roboticness comes in. You see an open net, and you think, oh, maybe he's going to add a little extra something on it. Maybe he's going to throw some more pace. And he goes, no, I'm just going to slap this down the line. I know exactly where to put this one. Well played from THEO Brunner.
Great shot by Chase Budinger.
Nice downshift by Budinger right there with the roll shot. You know, in high school, he was the Mizuno National Player of the Year in volleyball, and then he decided basketball was going to be his path, and he played for the University of Arizona before being drafted in 2009. So this guy's Player of the Year in volleyball, goes and plays basketball, and now comes full circle back on the court. And wow, has he become a serious contender on the beach for the men. And the big question, will he be in the Olympics in 2024? That could be cool.
And who would it be with is the other question.
Just trying to feel it out, trying to find that chemistry.
He's played alongside Casey Patterson for a few seasons, picked up a few titles along the way. Chase Budinger has 3 on the AVP Tour so far. And there's a good look at Troy Field, known for the vertical.
Yeah, he sure does get up. He jumps better than I think anybody out on the beach. And for Troy Field to get to that next level, it's just going to be about consistency for him. He's got all the tools.
Talk about the jump. You can see the vertical 27.8 so far. It's one of the fun aspects we've been tracking throughout this tournament. Get to see not only the height at which these guys are getting off the sand, but also the distance traveled. Give some context. It's always interesting to be able to see the indoor vertical versus the sand. Troy Field known for touching the bottom of the piers in the South Bay.
Yeah, it's just crazy some of the things that he can do. It's pretty awesome. And he's landed himself a spectacular partner in Chase Budinger. If I'm Troy Field, I got to take advantage. I got to lock Troy Field down. I'm sorry, lock Chase Budinger down. Oh. Great idea. Missed the execution right there. Kind of a roundhouse. We've seen Troy actually hit balls with that roundhouse motion. It's pretty awesome.
Troy Field currently playing in his first season as a full-time defender. He's made a switch. A nice block there from Theo Brunner.
I don't care how good that set was. Still gonna block it. Block number 2 for Theo.
Love the play lately of Brunner and Schalk. I think Schalk playing the best volleyball I've ever seen him play. Converting. Brunner really confident up at the net.
Keeps that on his side somehow and finishes. That's a big time play right there from Kane Schalk.
What was so awesome is he didn't stop his body. If you try to stop your body there, the ball jets forward. He dove, he followed through and got that ball to go straight up with some backspin on it. And just an incredible play.
So 11-7, they're going to take some time underneath the umbrella. And this team has done phenomenally well in terms of not only a finish on the AVP, but also internationally. Here's a look at their finishes. The highlighted is Hermosa Beach. Let's take a look back to their title there. Last time Theo Brunner won a title was in 2018, right here on the same sand we now reside, Hermosa Beach. This is the Hermosa Beach Open, the men's final, and we are just a few points away from crowning our champion. 11-6, Brunner Schalk with a steady lead. Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander trying to find a little bit of magic right now. We play to 15 points. Just 2 points separated these teams in both sets 1 and 2. Ooh, and swings like that might just get them back in it. 9-13. Brunner and Schalk looking for their first title together. It's championship point. And the triple ace crowns your Hermosa Beach Open champion. You gotta love it, finishing off with the triple ace. That's how they got it done in Hermosa Beach over Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander. Right now, they're looking to find their way back to a final. They got to get through this number 5 seed of Field and Budinger first. Big swing from Field. There was a touch on it. 7 feet off and 1 foot long.
That miscommunication right there is costly. They should have won that point for sure, but Troy Field and Chase Budinger couldn't communicate on that first ball, and that's what put them in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, no, you make a great point right there, especially both of them back on that left sideline. It's interesting, they just switched Field to the left. And another costly error. 13-8 brings us to the technical timeout.
Yeah, Budinger and Field have seen enough there. They're going to think about it here, but Brunner and Schalk have just really gotten consistent. They're not giving away any easy points.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I talked to them leading into this tournament in Atlanta, and I said, what are some areas of focus for you guys into the second half of the season? And they noted that they just wanted to be about 10% better on pass and setting. And I think that's showing up in terms of their offensive efficiency right now. They feel like they're scoring points at a top level and a very elite level, as they had done some pretty significant work internationally, like we mentioned. Solid World Championships finish gives them plenty of points to look forward to qualification process just a year out, as here's your set 1 stats. Budinger, Field, Brunner, and Schalk. The efficiencies on both teams actually a little interesting there, Dane.
Yeah, it's interesting, but hitting 0 right now, Budinger and Field, and that's because of those last few hitting errors into the net, out of bounds, that were a bit costly, and hence the 13-8 lead. But if you look at the digs, it's CHAIM Schalk in the backcourt, 4 digs already, and then a couple of blocks by Theo. And something you're not going to see in that stat sheet is the disruption. The reason that Budinger and Field have missed a couple of those hits is because of the presence of Theo Brunner.
maybe getting away with one there. Quick jump float to the sideline. I always look at the shots like that, Dane, and I'm going, how? How do you sneak that past Chase Budinger right there?
Well, it's a low shot. It's almost at his elbows. And so if you let the ball drop there, it's risky, but it'll rattle off. And especially if you're pinned on that sideline, sometimes it just rattles it off and out of bounds.
Yeah! Next level, Troy Field. Troy Field's in. Yeah, I wanted to bounce that too. Theo went low with his press right there.
And odds up.
15-10 now. The #1 seed rolling at this point.
Just rock solid volleyball so far from Brunner and Schalk. If I'm on the other side of the net, I'm thinking, how am I going to score some points with these guys? They're not making many errors. They're set up. That's a beautiful shot by Field as he's falling backwards right there. Kind of froze Schalk, but he'll give him that. They play the percentages well. That's what Schalk and Brunner do, and eventually you're going to hit right into their trap. Oh, forget about it. Brunner hitting the ball extremely high. I love seeing those balls hit to the deep corner because it's almost impossible to defend against them, especially a guy at his height. Look how high he goes to the angle. Field's in the angle, but it's the deep corner which makes it so effective.
So for those maybe at home, there's a nice swing from Chase Budinger. What do you think the contact point is for these guys above the height of the net?
Oh, man.
I know that requires some math.
At least, you know, for Brunner, it's, 11+ feet.
It's wild.
Theo Brunner, 6'7", listed at 6'7".
Yeah, at another 28, 29 inches of vertical, plus the block touch.
It's impressive. Vertical leap is huge. Field has a huge vertical leap, like extraordinary. And then you think on the women's side, like a girl like Haley Harward just elevates out of the sand. I mean, who else can you think of like extraordinary jumpers?
I mean, Haley's just so fit though. Like it's wild to see what she's been able to do, especially from the collegiate game now into the professional ranks as well. Playing some great volleyball. But you also think, around even the women's grouping, there are some high flyers out there. Brandy Wilkerson comes to mind as well.
No!
What about CAMRYN IRWIN?
I'm lucky if I got a credit card vertical now.
You wouldn't want these analytics and these stats?
No, do not put the tracker on me, please. Heck, I'd probably hold it above my head and just toss it into the air. See if that works.
Cheat, like as you jump, you grab it and tricking the system.
And actually, if you're wondering about the trackers we're talking about, you can see them there on the back of both Theo and CHAIM shorts, as well as Chase and Troy. That's where we're getting all the data from. That's a nice dig from Chase Budinger.
Yes!
Down defense, all right. Maybe we're going to switch roles, see some split blocking, who knows?
That was impressive, you're right. Chase Budinger usually not playing defense, but he converts, and talk about vertical leap. A guy like Chase Budinger crushing it was in the 2012 NBA Slam Dunk Contest.
Wasn't that here?
In Atlanta?
Am I wrong?
Well, I don't know if you can pull that out. The 2012 Slam Dunk Contest here in Atlanta, like, that's pretty impressive.
Let's look at Troy's numbers. 23 jumps, and there's a vertical 30 inches. Add another 8 or so on if that guy's put on a basketball court. Maybe alongside Chase. On the other side, though, you got to think about THEO Brunner and Schalk, who have done some steady work on the AVP Tour. They finished with a 3rd in Austin and then winning in Hermosa. Last week, they took a loss in the finals to Try and Trevor. And now, right, they're looking to pick up a victory in the semis to go back-to-back finals.
So I looked it up, and you were close. We're in Atlanta, but it was in Orlando.
Oh, that's what it was. Shoot.
I thought you were joking. Second place in that 2012 NBA Slam Dunk Contest. 24th AVP event, 3 AVP victories.
All with Casey Patterson. And they are working with a split block now. Troy Field, before this season, had been a blocker on tour. Not shocking to see him up at the net.
Do you know why Chase and Casey stopped playing together? I like that team.
Maybe it was different priorities at the time. One wanting to maybe travel internationally, pick up points. One focused on family. Of course, speaking of family, Chase Budinger, new little one in tow, now has a son. Said sleep has been definitely the focus. It's early days for them. Nice dig, but it's set back over. Schalk makes him pay.
Smart volleyball right there. Just patient. You know, didn't go up and hit that first overpass. Rather, set your partner. And that patience within the game is so important, not to panic on certain plays.
Not done yet.
18-20. Budinger and Field have kept things close here. They're going to stick with the split block. Troy Field up at the net. Ace serve! Make it a one-point game.
That's one way to do it right there. Breaking out the trickler. I think he was going for that, going for a second trickler.
21-19 with the missed serve from Chase Budinger. So first set going to the #1 seed. Brunner and Schalk pick up #1.
And this is the Fabletics match of the day. Let's meet the contestants.
The AVP is brought to you by KT Tape, helping athletes of all levels train longer and finish stronger. By Wilson, where the power is with the players. Head over to wilson.com to shop and learn more now. By Waikea Hawaiian Volcanic Water. Live Aloha. Drink Waikea at waikea.com. And by Waste Management. From recycling to renewable energy, we are working hard for a sustainable tomorrow.
Dear mainland, aloha. My brother and I hear lots of you have discovered a real Hawaiian favorite, Big Wave Golden Ale. That's the good kind of stuff, yeah, bro. Maybe it's the island flavor that makes each sip taste like a little vacation.
Got your beers here.
That's a whole lot of little vacations right there, huh, brother? That's like a big vacation. Retirement. One life, right? Mahalo. Big Wave Golden Ale from Kona Brewing.
All right, let's take a look at our set one stats. Budinger, Field, Brunner, and Schalk. This is men's semifinal action. CAMRYN IRWIN alongside Dane Blanton. And we got to love the stories that these numbers can tell. And I think the one right here is the efficiency, right? That's the one that sticks out, Dane.
Yeah, always the hitting efficiency. Keep the ball in. You know what I mean? If you don't have a kill or a winner, keep the ball in. Give yourself another opportunity, because both these teams are so good at scoring points at the net and defensively that you don't want to give any away by having too many hitting errors. And definitely Schalk and Brunner won that one.
Okay. And if they want to change the tune in terms of efficiency, that's a good start for Budinger and Field. First point on the board in set number 2.
No worries, bud.
And from the start, they're going to go with the split block.
Great roll shot there by Schalk. And, you know, I like the strategy of mixing it up with Chase Budinger and Troy Field now split blocking. Usually Chase is running up to the net 100% of the time. And what this is going to do is give both of them that opportunity to focus a little bit more on their serve and maybe go for it and put some pressure, much needed pressure, on Brunner and Schalk.
Two apiece. They go at Chase now.
And angle. Yeah, Chase, huh?
Up and over the top. It's always interesting to have the discussion about who you're going after in the side-out game, whether it's more based off of the skills of the side-out player or the skills of the setter, and how that might vary as the game evolves. Nice swing there from Schalk. Or maybe you just don't want to have to chase, or maybe you have a better beat on an attacker.
Yeah, so true. So much goes into the strategy of who you serve, and don't think it's always because they may be the weaker offensive player. Just like you said, CAMRYN, it might be that their partner doesn't set them quite as well, or they're great shooters and you're not good at running down shots. Maybe you want that big power hitter because you have a big blocker and you want to stuff them down. So a lot goes into it, a lot of thought into the game plan.
Yeah, and it kind of plays for both of these teams, right? A lot of teams have been going after THEO. You're going, well, why would you go after THEO? He's 6'7".
No, it's up!
Just out of bounds, but maybe it's because people don't want to have to chase all the shots they're seeing from the dynamic attack of Schalk.
Frustration on the face of Chase Budinger. Another ball hit out of bounds.
Came quick with the feet to transition out.
Schalk just reading. He got there so early. He just kind of had to sit there and wait for the ball. That's how well he is reading. And then his conversion rate through the roof as he goes down the line.
Another sweet pickup from Schalk.
Come on, come on, come on.
And he fares it again with the high line.
That was like an instant replay of the same exact
play.
Roll shot angle. Schalk waits on it. Patient comes in, faces cross court, and hits it high line. I don't know if I've ever seen two plays that looked exactly alike.
Troyfield maybe getting caught a little too far underneath that one.
Yeah, he's been coming in a little early, almost as if they were going to hit a tempo, a quicker ball, and then that ball sometimes gets behind him. You always want your momentum going forward as a hitter. Let's see if he waits here. A little better, but you see how he's falling back at the end? That's a telltale of where your balance is and which direction you are going. See, he comes in, and then the ball's behind him. Doesn't have great vision, and that's why it gets blocked. Fortunately for him, it goes out of bounds.
5-7 now. See the sand on the back of Troyfield. Maybe that's another good indicator. 31.1 inches in terms of highest jump from field. There's a nice dig. Beckham like that one.
Just crazy jumping ability, and when he gets up there, he kind of hovers for a minute.
Oh, look at the read from C-Bud. He's like, all right, enough of CHAIM, picking up the cut, and hitting away.
Chase Budinger showing his defensive reading skills right there. He made that look easy. I mean, taking that short shot, the whole entire court was wide open, but he knew something that we didn't right there.
It's fun to see him playing a little backcourt D. 7 apiece right now.
Absolutely.
Maybe they found something here. Eight kills on 12 attempts. Quick set. Another. Go ahead.
Nice patience. You know, that pass was a little close to the net, but Schalk didn't panic, just kind of set that ball up in the air. That's what I really like about these two right now. They're really calm, really patient in their game.
Going on strong and then off speed in the last second. THEO.
Glasses?
80.
One year out from the Olympic qualification process. There's a lot of men's teams right now that could be vying for those two positions in 2024. Nice swing there from CHAIM. CHAIM having already gone to an Olympic Games representing Canada back in 2016.
We did that with Ben Saxton, and then CHAIM decided to switch countries. He has dual citizenship, both in Canada and in the United States, and now he's competing for the USA.
Now there's going to be some debate down on the sand. Was the block in or was the block out? Here's a look.
Do we think it was out of bounds? Big Wave Dave has the answer. It is
Inbounds it is. Nice delay there from Rocher. In terms of total blocks right now, Budinger with 3.
Here's a good look at it. Big hit, cross court. Brunner up and over, pressing that ball. I think just got the outside of the line, just barely.
That was Brunner's second block. And that's a new look for Troy. I haven't seen him hit that seam ball yet.
Yeah, you're right. He's moving it around. I think, you know, it's nice to see him at the net as a blocker because he can block well, and I think that's kind of opening up the rest of his game.
Try.
Come on, Jake.
Oh, that's
What do you call that?
Well, it's kind of a baby rainbow, right? He got it over not only the block, but then the defender. Look at THEO. High contact every time. If he consistently keeps contacting the ball up there, he's going to give other teams fits.
And let's take our technical timeout. And
10-11 brings us to the technical timeout. Just a 1-point game. It was 2 points separation in set number 1. It's interesting to look through some of these numbers. Troy Field hitting just 174. The rest of the 3, all above 500 right now.
There with their coach, Scott Davenport. Scott Davenport has really become quite the coach. Involved with a lot of teams. Very knowledgeable.
Take a look at some of the numbers from set number 2. We mentioned the individual efficiencies. Not many service errors there, but on both sides, nice to see. But it's interesting, too, you mentioned Scott Davenport. He works over at 24th Street in Hermosa Beach, not only with the pairing down on the sand, but also Sponsel and Cannon. And both those teams winning in Hermosa Beach. Fun little tidbit, they got back to practice at 24th Street. And their neighbors and friends and fans had posted all the articles of them winning in Hermosa Beach along the length of their pole that holds their net up on 24th Street. So fun little camaraderie down in the South Bay. Let's take a look at the other semifinal going on. Dahlhauser Patterson take the first set over the number 6 seed of Lotman and Partain.
That's a pretty cool story about going back to your home court and, you know, the community putting up those articles. It makes you feel good, you know, because
Supported.
you're supported. You go to the court that you train on all the time, and that's something special. And also it being the first win for them.
As
so
a team.
Cool. So cool.
It's a unique way to set.
Kind of a semi-tomahawk over the head, open hand. It was interesting, but it got to the location that it needed to get to, and Chase able to see the court and execute.
Troy Field with the block. He's waiting for the sound.
Great block by Troy, and like I said, he can do it all. He's a great athlete. And I like the fact that they've kind of switched it up.
Budinger has 3 blocks, Field has 1. And a dig from Budinger.
No.
Gets caught underneath. Couple opportunities on both sides of the net.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the story of this match. The execution has happened more on the side of Schalk and Brunner. Beautiful dig by Schalk. And then that ball is hit, what, 8 feet off the net? But he hits it in the right spot to throw off Troy Field.
You hear so much communication between these two about setting the set location. Critical for them. A lot of times they're running that high ball offense. Fields there. THEO Brunner's timing is phenomenal on that block.
It is. I mean, that's his best attribute is his blocking. It's so hard to get around THEO Brunner. Look at this, the height and the size of the area that he just takes over. And they doubled up right there on the angle defensively and as the block. And they do it again.
trying to force him to hit down the line right now.
I mean, they're going quite a bit to Troy Field. You can see the frustration on the face of Troy Field as he's unable to convert. And then there's that deep hit. Even if you're there defensively, it's hard to get a hand on it. It's really fun to watch Brunner and Schalk, how they've kind of methodically improved their game, and they're just very efficient. They're not giving away much.
Yeah, they also talk about using these AVP tournaments to work on some things, including varying their offense. Maybe it's quickening things up, maybe looking to option here and there. We haven't seen that as much in this match, but just a few other elements as you talk about the evolution of their game. Good leave.
That one goes 6-4.
Close one. Knowing that court, so important.
Jump set. And nothing is falling that direction right now.
Yeah, a lot of great tricks here. Ball ends up on top. Troy with a jump set. Little finesse shot for Chase, but he just misses it right there.
Option.
Over here.
Trying to slide in front of that attack is THEO Brunner, but not quite quick enough to get in front of C-Bud.
Troy Field getting caught moving maybe a little to the middle or running to that line when that ball gets hit cross court. It's hard to change directions as that ball is being hit. Timing has to be perfect.
Right. Yeah, see.
One to the switch. It will either be 17-18.
Just 2 points again. The separation. It's a little intriguing. You watch the body language of both of these two teams right now. You'd think the separation was more than just 2 points.
Yeah, it seems like Brunner and Schalk have been in complete control from the start, even though it is only a 2-point game. I know exactly what you're saying, Cameron. It feels like it's a bigger margin and this thing's over. But it's not yet. There's still some fight in Chase Budinger and Troy Field. But it's hard. I think what is frustrating them is that they can't find out how to score.
16-19. They got to find a few ways to score right now. Chase takes the middle ball. That's one way to do it.
Sharp angle on the quick arm of Chase Budinger, 7-9.
That's the thing. It's one thing to score when you're siding out. It's another thing when you're serving, trying to figure out how do we score against the team on the other side? How do we line up against them defensively? Because they're just not giving anything away.
No, without a doubt. It's 20-17 right now.
We are taking a team timeout.
A little pep in the step right now of THEO Brunner and CHAIM. They know they're just one away.
And I'm out here with my buddy Aiden, and we are
As coming out of the timeout, it will be match ball for them.
So let's throw out some mini balls, shall we? We got the big ones, we got the little ones. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's not as if Field and Budinger have played poorly at all. They've played high-level volleyball, but they have had some hitting errors, whereas on the other side, Brunner and Schalk have been really clean and consistent and patient, very disciplined, and they're kind of methodically going about their business.
And as a reminder, these two teams have met once on the AVP Tour this season. It did go to Chase and Troy in terms of the victory. You mentioned the hitting errors for Budinger and Field, a combined 10 total, as opposed to Brunner and Schalk right now, combined 4. As our fans here in Atlanta get cooled off. I also want to take a second just to say a huge thank you to not only our production, but also the cast and crew that's been all behind the scenes all weekend fighting through the weather, the lightning, the rain. Our camera crews out there on the sand and in the heat right now. Y'all have done a phenomenal job. Mark Sherman's been out there on the sand as well. Not to mention the fans here in Atlanta. Look at them. They're loving this Sunday action on the AVP Tour. Phil and Casey, like we mentioned, picked up the first set. That's Phil Dahlhauser and Casey Patterson over Lotman and Partain. Right now, they're in second set action. Could be a bit of a rule reversal in set 2 based off the scores I'm seeing. I'll let you all check that out. It's match ball. CHAIM steps in the cut. And high off the hands, the #1 seed is going to the final.
And wow, that was fun to watch for Brunner and Schalk. This really high-level, clean volleyball from start to finish. And if they play like that in the final, they're going to be very difficult to beat.
Without a doubt, the #1 seed playing very tough. They did take a loss earlier in this competition on the weekend, so they fought through the contenders and now find themselves back into the final. Can they find a second title in 2022? And could it be here in Atlanta? So there are the updated brackets. There's Brunner and Schalk into that final position. That 3 versus 6 is still taking place out on an outer court as we speak. Our women's final is also set. So we'll have some fun as we head to the women's matchup after a little bit of a break here, but big congrats to those two as they are moving on to the final at Atlantic Station. There's a look at the final stats for the match. Just to track on back through, the efficiency definitely sticks out, but always fun too. Drop your eyes to the jumps and the distance as well. We'll see you back out on the sand in Atlanta.